What's good, Straw Gang, and welcome to another video. Now, in tonight's upload, or in today's upload actually, because it's 1 PM as I'm recording this, we're going to be taking a look at the 2 new Warzone specific perks within the Season 5 update coming on August 12th. Now, as I said, these are Warzone specific. This just backs the idea even more that Warzone is, going to grow into its own entity, its own game, just Call of Duty Warzone. They've definitely pushed the Modern Warfare name out of Warzone even more over the year and everything. But Warzone is most definitely going to become its own entity, and it's really getting close to that. But with these 2 specific perks, we have Tempered and Combat Scout. We're going to break those down and talk about them and give my opinion on whether I think they're useful or not, and everything like that. So yeah, with that being said, man, let's hop right into it. So the first perk we have here is Combat Scout. With this perk, operators receive a burst of in-field intel as damaging an enemy briefly highlights a foe in bright orange and automatically pings them. Whether it's confirming a callout or finding someone cooped up in a building behind penetrable cover, this perk only grows stronger if the operator behind it can communicate effectively to their squad mates. So with all that being said, I feel like you guys could understand that this is going to be very helpful for solos. It's going to highlight enemies that you damage. So if you're running past a building or something like that, you yeet a nade in there, C4, well, C4 doesn't actually throw anywhere. A Semtex, a nade, a thermite, whatever it may be, if it manages to damage the person that's in that building, it'll highlight them, pretty much similar to the snapshot grenade. That's what it looks like when they're highlighted when you damage them, which is very, very helpful. It allows you to know where the person is specifically, because if you throw a C4 in there or damage them in some way, it's like, okay, I know they're there, but a lot of the time they move to a different angle of the building, a different room maybe, and this will just allow you to see what they're doing for those first couple seconds. It gives you an idea of where they are and just helps you attack them easier. Now, as I've thought about this more, it is going to be a pretty crazy perk for something like Rebirth. I personally like to go off in solo quad and go off on my own. This is going to be crazy for when, a whole team or a lot of people are in a certain building. You use like a nade, a C4 or something like that, a Semtex, and it's going to, I assume it's going to highlight the whole team. It didn't say it only does a specific amount of people, so I assume if you do manage to deal damage to multiple people, it will highlight them as well, which is a crazy advantage for, like I said, someone like me who likes to solo quad and Rebirth. There's a lot of buildings where there's just so many people in them, and being able to damage and highlight multiple people to get an idea of where they are specifically is going to be very, very helpful. Now, it's actually really cool here because we have a little snippet and look at what this is going to be looking like actually in game. There's no audio for this, but basically it's just like a little clip. So as you can see, dude throws a grenade, it hurts the person, and you can see this snapshot grenade looking highlight around the person. Pretty much is what wall hacks looks like. Actually, this is pretty much what it looks like, and then it also shows what they look like out in the open. So that's pretty helpful for smoke as well. Maybe if you throw a smoke and then like a nade, and you actually, yeah, if you know there's a full team in a building, throw a smoke in there, then throw like a C4 or a nade, and it'll highlight all of them, and then you run in there and destroy them, right? Like, say you're just below them, throw the smoke in, throw the nade, run up, and use that couple seconds you have to, kill as many as you can. That would be very, very helpful. That's actually crazy, a really crazy combo. So that's what it's going to look like there. And like I said, this is going to be very helpful for when you're playing Rebirth quads, any quad mode, really getting those people out of camping areas in the buildings. I mean, it even says right here, literally says someone cooped up in a building behind penetrable cover. This is this is a good counter to campers. So the next perk we have here is Tempered. This is like an armor based perk, which looks to fundamentally change armor values within Warzone. When an operator is under the effects of Tempered, their armor plates are heavier and more reinforced. Only 2 of them are needed for an operator to be considered fully armored compared to the standard 3. In other words, Tempered allows each armor plate to absorb 75 points of damage instead of the standard 50, but an operator will only be able to wear 2 at a time instead of 3. This unique change also comes at the sacrifice of your perk 2 slot, which means overkill and ghost, but we'll talk about that in a second. So choose your perk setup wisely before bulking up with those reinforced plates. Now, this is another one that will be very helpful for solo players who are rushing groups and quads, aka me, because what you basically are able to do as instead of having to plate up a full 3 times, you get to just plate up twice, and then that counts as a full armored or fully armored amount of armor, I guess. And that's really good because there's been so many engagements in gunfights, and I'm sure you guys have been in this situation too, where you're just thinking or saying to yourself, like, you know, if I just had one more plate in that situation, I would have survived, you know, just that one extra plate. And that's pretty much what Tempered will allow you to do. It takes off the having to plate one more time, but it will actually act as having 3 plates, which is very cool, very, very good. The only downside to it is it does take away perk 2, which is Ghost and Overkill. What I thought of with this one is, obviously we all know you kind of get 2 loadouts in Warzone in the earlier parts of the game. Usually you buy a loadout and then the free one comes along. If you want to be using an AR or an SMG as your main, you can have a loadout with Tempered and then your whatever main weapon in the primary slot. Use that until the second loadout comes along, and then grab another loadout with Tempered as well, but say the other gun you want to use. Say if it's an SMG and a sniper, you just have 2 classes with Tempered, and then you get both of them, and then you can have whatever other perk it might be, double time, amped, whatever, and you pretty much have an Overkill Tempered loadout, which is what the whole Ghost thing is, you know. Grab a loadout with Overkill, then get one with Ghost, you get your guns, It's basically the same situation. So even though while you only have your first loadout, you don't have your Overkill weapon, a lot of the floor loot weapons are very good. There's a MAC-10, there's a Bullfrog, there's a, what else is there? MAC-10 Bullfrog is all I can think of right now, PPSH I guess, and then you can just grab the second loadout and then have an Overkill with Tempered. Yet again, for me personally, this is going to be very helpful because when you're rushing into those buildings with so many people around, only having to have 2 plates is very, very helpful. It always comes down to those last couple seconds whether you decide to plate or not to plate. Usually ends up being the wrong thing. It's like, if I plated I would have died, but I didn't plate so I didn't have enough health. You know those situations. I absolutely know you've been in them before, and having to only plate twice for it to count as full armor is very, very helpful. And plus, I also want to mention as well, on Rebirth, Ghost is probably one of the least used perks. Like, I don't see a lot of people using Ghost on Rebirth because it's so close quarters, and people just don't. Like, I see most people grabbing their Overkill loadouts and that's that. So this won't actually have much of a, it won't leave you at much of a disadvantage on Rebirth specifically, maybe Verdansk. I also want to brush over the new weapons we're getting as well. We've got the Tec-9 SMG and the EM2 AR, which are the 2 main ones that I'm focusing on, which is very exciting. I always love new weapons coming to the game, man. We got the CX-9 recently, which was a good little, you know, revival for the season, something new and something fresh. And then pretty much a week later, we're getting 4 new guns, which, like I said, I'm going to be focusing on the Tec-9 and the EM2. Now, I'm an SMG player. I like to run and gun, get in those close range situations. So for me personally, the Tec-9 is what I'm most excited for. Semi-auto submachine gun, improved accuracy from longer ranges with low recoil and slower fire rate, good damage output with moderate range. So it's a semi-auto. All right, on to the EM2. Full auto AR, well-rounded British rifle with good firing control, built-in low zoom optic improves accuracy. I don't know what provides. Optic improves accuracy, slower fire rate with reliable range. That's unlocked at tier 15. And then the Tec-9 is unlocked at tier 31. That really sucks to hear that the Tec-9 is semi-auto, because that's pretty much just the KSP. It kind of gives me vibes of the Damon 3XB in Black Ops 4, if you remember that. The Damon 3XB. That thing actually shredded, so you know what? I'm going to give the Tec-9 benefit of the doubt. I'm going to be hopeful, I'm going to be optimistic. It actually ended up being quite a good weapon. Not a meta weapon, not a main gun, but it ended up being pretty good, so I want to give optimism. I want to be optimistic for the Tec-9. So that's pretty much the video, guys. We're getting 3 or 4 new weapons, as well as 2 new Warzone exclusive perks. I think this is a really good step in the right direction, content-wise, for Warzone. Obviously, we know what needs to be done to the game right now. I'm not going to mention that. We all know what it is. But in terms of content and the actual game continuing to be fresh and not get stale, this is great. Warzone specific perks are amazing, and I hope they continue to innovate and add new things to the game as the years go on, because they said they want Warzone to be, you know, supported throughout the next couple years, and obviously that can only be, you know, a reality, and only can be done with proper anti-cheat support to the game, their new content, and just keeping the game fresh and everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I might have an upload later on tonight, I'm not sure, can't guarantee, but thank you so much for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed, hit that red sub button down below with post notifications on, stay up to date with everything season 5 related when it launches, as well as gameplays and all that type of stuff. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody, and I'm out.